So what we're going to do today is something I think is really, really fun and great practice for improving your drawing. And it's a little bit of a faster lesson. So combining slower, more honed or specific skills, like the last class we worked on learning how to draw ellipses or circles in perspective. That's sort of a slow lesson, right? That takes a lot of focus and concentration on one specific skill. So today we're going to do something that's sort of its opposite, which is, drawing quickly without analyzing or thinking too much. And we're going to do continuous line drawing. And I'll tell you exactly what that means and how it works and how to approach it. But first, we're just going to do a warm-up to kind of get ourselves in the frame of mind, and just to get our eyes to start focusing and our eyes and hands to start working together. So we're going to do a warm-up, a blind contour drawing, just to get started. So I know a lot of you have done blind contour drawings. A lot of us have done them together. But if you have never done one, I'll tell you what it is and how it works, and then we'll do it together. So the blind part of blind contour drawing means that you never look at your paper. What you're going to do instead is pick something to look at. It can be an object, it can be your hand, close to your face and easy to see while you're drawing. It can be any objects, windows, something that's easy to see the outline or the contour of. So it's clear sort of where the edges are, and you're not sort of squinting and trying to understand where the edge is. So all you're going to do is pick something to look at, and then you're going to have either a pencil or pen, it does not matter. And say I'll pick my hand, just for it's easy to show in this example. Now what I'll do is with my eye, I'll pick a place to start. So if I were going to draw my hand, say I would just pick one side, and what I do is I'll slowly, very, very slowly, it's important to go slow, almost as slow as you can stand it. Around the outside or the contour, there's the edge of whatever it is I'm looking at. And as I move my eye around the contour, I just move my hand with my pencil on my paper. But you never look down at your drawing, and you never lift up your pencil. So this is an exercise to get your eyes to slow down, to carefully observe what you're looking at, and to get your eye and your hand to start working together. So this is our little warm-up exercise before we get to the real drawing. Does anyone have any questions of how this works or what to do before we start? You can either unmute yourself or type in the chat box. Okay, so I'm just going to set a timer for 2 minutes and pick something that's, easy to see and just nearby. It doesn't have to be anything complicated. Okay, are you ready? And let's start. Okay, have 1 minute still to go. Okay, and stop. Okay, so how was that? I'll share you. I did too. You can't see very well because it's pencil maybe, but that's how mine came out. So sometimes these drawings, they look really cool and sometimes they look crazy. Does anyone want to share theirs? It almost went outside the paper. Yes. A lot of times, right, especially with something tall or wide, you sort of drift off the paper. But it's okay. You can just put your pencil back on the paper and start again. Anyone else? Okay. Okay, so we're doing this as a warm-up for what we're going to do now, which I call one-line pen drawings or a continuous line drawing. So it's a really good warm-up because what we're going to do is basically the same thing. Somebody says they needed a laugh. Yeah, okay, good. I'm glad you have a sense of humor about it. So these drawings are very similar, except you can actually look at your paper in this drawing. So what I suggest is have a full clean piece of paper. I actually use a pen, and I use it's like a Stabilo .88. This is a great pen. I use it on purpose because it's not waterproof. We'll talk about that later. But you can use anything that really moves smoothly and easily on the paper. That's sort of the best thing to use, something that moves around freely, like a really soft pencil or any kind of pen or marker or crayon or whatever you would like. So what we're going to do is we're going to look here at, see, you should probably have a desk or a table, something like a surface with a bunch of stuff on it, just around you. So we want to look at something that's just near to us or close by. Don't move or arrange anything, okay? So what we're going to do is looking at just what's immediately around us. Just like in the blind contour drawing, you're going to pick a point to start. And say I'm going to look at the objects on my table. Now, I have a bunch of objects that go from front to back. So maybe what I do is if I decide to start at the front of my table or the things that are closest to me, I would probably start at the bottom of my paper, right? Or if you start far away, you could start at the top of your paper. Just think a little bit about, you know, if you're going to do something wide or long, maybe turn your paper horizontally. If you want to draw something that's taller, then just orient your paper vertically. So with your pen, you're just going to pick a place to start and start drawing. And you're never going to lift up your pen. Now, you can draw anything that you want, and also you do not have to draw everything. You can edit, right? You're an artist, it's not a photograph, so you can say, I don't want to draw 8 pencils. Like I have like 8 pencils on my table. Maybe I don't want to draw 8 pencils. Maybe I would just draw 1. That's fine, right? So you don't have to draw everything. You can also shade. You can draw texture, anything that you want. The only real rule in this drawing is that you can never pick up your pen. So somebody is saying, I have a messy desk. Yeah, this is like perfect then, because it will keep you really, really busy, right? Now, one thing about this drawing that can be really cool is to think about drawing things in space. And what that means is where 2 objects overlap. Say if I have, 2 cups, right? One in front of the other. Now, I could start drawing the one that's in front, but where they intersect in my line of sight, I could then start drawing the one behind it. So you could just think about where things intersect or meet in space. You can continue your line drawing that way. And it really creates a nice sense of depth and space easily. Now, the reason why we do this drawing is to practice a new way of drawing, this is a kind of drawing that you really can't stop to think. So you can't overanalyze it. So there is no making a perfect drawing. It's really good to hone your observation skills quickly. So let me think if I have any other things to say about this. I don't think so. So why don't we just give it a try and just look at some area that's immediately around you. So does anyone have any questions before we start? Okay. So let's try, actually let's do this for 5 minutes. It can seem like a long time. If you feel like you're done before, that's okay. One thing is you can always retrace your lines, right? If you want to go back to a previous place, right, you can either just drag your pen all the way across the paper, or you can retrace your lines. And someone asked, did you say we can look at the drawing? Yes, you can definitely look at your paper and what you're drawing. Okay, great question. Okay, so we're just going to try this. Now, just be open to it. We don't know what's going to happen, okay? And try to suspend judgment while you're drawing. Just keep going, no matter what it looks like. Okay, so I'm going to set the timer for 5 minutes. It's kind of a long time, so just try and cover your paper as much as you can. Okay, are you ready? And let's start. Okay, and stop. Okay, so stop when you get to a good point. Now step back a little bit and have a look at your drawing. So I would really like to hear from people or see your drawing from anybody who would be willing to share, and just what your experience is, first of all, of doing this drawing, and then also the results.
Hi, Kelly. Okay, so
Hi,
I found it.
Marcia.
Hi. I thought it was fun to do it.
Okay,
anyway,
that's good.
As I felt it had to be creative, I had 3 major items and it had spaces between them. So I had to kind of concoct a way to join them without lifting my pencil, which ended up being the shadows between them. Whoops.
Oh, very cool.
Like that, I guess. I don't know.
Excellent.
My camera. So they look a little wacky and like I'm on drugs, I guess, but otherwise, I thought it was just fun to do. I liked it.
Yeah, it's good because it's a way you normally wouldn't let yourself draw, right?
Yeah.
It can be good for sort of freeing up your mark making also. Okay, cool. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, so Peter, do you want to share yours? That would be great. Or Michael or Karen?
Yeah, we'll share after Peter.
Okay.
I think, can you see that?
So yeah, you did a lot of shading and texture. It's great.
That was about the
So
only
what
way.
was your experience? Sorry?
I said that was really the best way to connect the items, going from one to the other.
Yeah, so that was your strategy for keeping them connected. Great,
Yeah,
and I know that you've done this drawing before.
It's my paper.
Yeah, so did you enjoy this drawing?
Yeah, no, I like doing that style. It's good.
Yeah, is it different than how you would normally draw?
No, it's become my soup du jour.
Okay, well, maybe in the next exercise, we'll force you to do something a little different, or maybe not, we'll see.
Cool.
Thanks for being a good sport, though. Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
Whoops, I can't tell where I am.
Oh, yeah, this is great. Yeah, hold it a little high. Yes, beautiful. Wow.
This was for just a single line of the things on the table. So, but it was fun. I enjoyed it. Actually, it turned out better than I thought it would from the first little exercise we did.
Yeah, it actually has a lot of movement, your drawing, right? It really goes from one object to the next. But the way that you made your lines, you sort of, curving lines, gave it a lot of movement. That's really nice. Okay. Yeah, Lisa would like to share. Oh, Maya, are you here?
Okay. But you have to turn off your video. Yeah, I know. That working? I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, can you put a little bit, towards you? Yeah, and then back just a little bit and lower. There you go. Wow. Maya, that's amazing.
Thank you. I like drawing small because I am small. So I didn't know if we were supposed to draw it big, but
No, that's okay. Yeah, so you did a lot of shading, right? It gave your drawing a lot of depth. Did you like doing the shading?
yes.
Okay. Cool. So did you learn anything from this drawing, or did you do anything differently than you normally would?
Well, I don't like, I like picking up the pen, so it was kind of hard, but it was also, it's kind of fun to learn like this new exercise. Yeah.
Yeah. So, right. Not picking up a pen sort of makes you have to do things differently than you normally would. Yeah. Okay. Thanks for sharing. Does anybody else want to share? Okay. Okay, great. So we're going to do this again, but this time we're going to have a specific subject. So I'd like you to find something like a window that you can see through, a door, or any kind of like door that opens, say like a closet or a cupboard, anything that will give you sort of a foreground, like something that you're looking into or through. So this time you have to draw the frame, which is the window or door, and then also what you see through it. So I'm sort of forcing you to think about what's in the foreground or the frame, and then what you see through it. So you have to draw in a way to create space. So I'll give you a minute so that everybody can kind of look around and find something that you can look at. Now, I would imagine that everybody has a window or a door of some kind that you can look at. You can open like a curtain or just open the door so you can see through. Okay, and so we'll try it again for 5 minutes. It seems like 5 minutes was actually a good amount of time. If it was too long or too short, you can speak up now or forever hold your peace. Okay. Okay. So we'll start again, and this time drawing what's in front and then what's through. But always don't pick up your pen. Now, the only rule in this whole drawing is that you cannot pick up your pen. So you can always go back over lines, or you can just go across your paper, but you just can't pick up your pen. Okay, yeah, that's a good question. Does anyone have any other questions? Okay, great. So, yeah.
Ask if so you're just drawing the window and what's through the window, but not foreground stuff between you and the window or anything, right?
Yeah, I would say you can definitely, as long as you get in the window, that like the inside part, and the outside part, like what you see through it. But you can definitely also add in anything that's in front of the window, anything that gives you a sense of space, right? Like foreground, background.
Okay, great, thanks.
That's a good one. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to set the timer for 5 minutes again, and try and fill up your paper as much as you can. Okay, ready and start. Okay, we have 1 minute left. Okay, and stop. Okay, so let's see. How did this one go compared to the last one? Did anybody fill up their paper? Let's see, I can show you mine. This is, I did just looking in one of my cupboards here. Okay. Great, so let's hear, how did that go? How did you feel about drawing this way? Any comments, feedback? How did it turn out?
Sure.
Yeah, great. Let me find you. Hold on.
Oh, I think can you hear me?
Yes. Hi, Mimi.
This is what I did outside.
Wow.
But I didn't have enough time to do the actual outside, but I had fun to do the inside because I started from
Yeah.
yeah, it was really
Well,
fun.
that's great.
I like drawing.
Yeah, it's really great that you drew the foreground, right? Because then it gives a sense of inside and outside.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe I'll do it again to a little bit more time to draw outside.
Yeah, right. So yeah, you could keep, when you start these things, you can just keep going and going and going and going.
Yeah, I do find that my wrist and my arm they get really, really sore. Like, is that, I don't know, maybe
Yeah, are you gripping your pen like really tightly?
yeah, I think so. Yeah, but it's really fun. Thank you.
Cool, thank you. Yeah, that's great. Thanks so much for sharing. Okay, so somebody said the drawing gets complicated quickly. Yeah, so it does, right? Because it's also easy to kind of get lost, or yeah, things get complicated, but that's okay, right? Like one thing is you can edit out a lot of information if you start getting lost and think about what are the big shapes, right? Door, you know, what's through the door, the floor, the wall, right? You could start with big shape, but sometimes it's fine to get lost and let it be complicated, right? It doesn't have to all be worked out. Yeah, somebody said also it turned out very abstract. So I imagine maybe it's the same sort of thing, right? Especially when there's a lot to look at and sort of decipher. Okay, somebody said, wow, of April and Joanna. Yeah, somebody asked, why do you want to draw this way? What's the benefit? So like what I said at the beginning is it's really good to practice what I would call like fast and slow techniques together. So like in the last lesson, we spent a lot of time doing something that's really takes slow and takes a lot of concentration, which is drawing ellipses or circles in perspective, right? So that's something that's a little bit meticulous. You have to be careful. You need to measure, take your time, and really analyze and think about what you're doing and why does it make sense in the sense of the space and the overall drawing. So this is something that has you speed up and not analyze your drawing so much. This is a really good skill to practice to get better at creating overall compositions. Right? It also teaches you to use space, to place things in space, and to understand and look at where things overlap, right? And how to sort of deal with them in a very simplified way. Because if you did a drawing like this very slowly, you could easily spend hours and hours and hours. So this is also a way to just sort of build up confidence and speed. It also gets you to loosen up and experiment with a new way of drawing. So these are drawings that you would normally not let yourself do because you think like, oh, maybe this doesn't look good, or, you know, but it's actually way more expressive. And it gives you a sense of a new way of working. And it's not for everyone, right? You did it once, you never have to do it again, but if you found it beneficial, you could do it again. Another thing I wanted to say is if you use a pen that is not permanent, meaning it's not waterproof, that means that it can be dissolved with water. So another step that you could do at home on your own with these drawings is to take like any kind of brush and water. In this case, I have something that's a water brush, which is a brush that has, it holds its own water that's refillable, but any sort of brush and a cup of water. And you can actually dissolve the ink, and you can continue with your drawing by dissolving the ink in several places. So you could use it for things like shadow. So if I just, you know, start to wet this area slightly, see, it dissolves the ink and starts turning it into sort of like a shadowed area. It's kind of like doing an ink wash drawing, but without having to directly put on the wash. Then you can also add color to these drawings. So if you have some watercolors or tempera paints or anything like that at home, you can selectively go back and add some color to these, and it really brings it to life. So it's something I really suggest trying and playing with, because it can really, really be a lot of fun, and it sort of can add a lot of depth and life to your drawing. So I'm just trying to dissolve a few areas to show you how it can work. Okay, does anybody else? Yeah, water brush. Exactly. So Pentel makes them. There are a lot of people that make them, but Pentel kind of make the nicest ones. And they're just like this. It's called a water brush. And this part holds the water, which is refillable, and you just unscrew this other part. And you can get them round, flat, wide, thin. They come in all kinds of shapes and sizes. You can also fill the water with ink or yeah, different colored inks. You can really do a lot with these. Yeah, it's really cool. Somebody says, cool, yeah. So does anybody else want to share either their experience of doing this or their drawing?
I'd like to share.
Yeah, great.
Let's see.
Is that Liza?
Yes,
Or Maya?
Lisa again. Or no, now it's Lisa. Let's see.
Now it's Lisa. I see you. Hi, Lisa.
Still here.
Yes,
Wait, can you turn it a little more towards the camera? No, this is great. So you drew the plants through the window.
Yes. And I enjoyed this. It was funny. Like I realized, you know, I could use the here it is. There's certain highways where I could like let my pen skip around to different places. The first one I did before was not so great, but what I did like about the exercise is I realized I could try, like, it helped me correct my proportions by just keeping the pen, because I started here, or wait, no, I started here and then started drawing, but when I came back around, then I realized my proportions were off, and so I ended up putting the handle for the wine thing up higher. That's not the prettiest drawing. But I liked how like it helped me. If I was doing this maybe in pencil, then I could go back and erase it and realize that my proportions were off. But
Yes, definitely. And what I really liked about the second one is like the juxtaposition of the window has these straight, hard lines, and then the organic shapes of the plants through the windows. It's really nice drawing.
thank you.
Yeah, and that's great. It does help you see proportions a lot more quickly, right? Because you're looking at where things are in relationship to each other. Yeah.
So I like this exercise a lot.
Great. Well, thanks for trying it. Yes. I'd say you had good results. Hello.
Hey, Kelly, I was just gonna, can I share? Is it okay?
Yeah, absolutely. It's great.
So this was really interesting because so I was drawing the stuff kind of right through the window, the two buildings.
Yes.
And actually, just a few hours before, I was trying to draw through the window as well, coincidentally.
Oh, really?
And I got kind of obsessed with proportions and where I would put the windows. But then, and then I stopped here because I was bored.
Okay,
so now with this exercise, I got to fill in, and because like it forced me to fill things in, and I think it's a nice way where I might do more of, because then I would not obsess over proportions and things. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's excellent. And I think you can even you can go back at the end and emphasize the window that you're looking through, in the sense of like maybe it's dark inside and light outside. Like you could somehow make even more contrast between the two. But that's really great. That's an amazing coincidence that you were just drawing out the window before.
But it was really free
Really
not being such a perfectionist, so it was nice. Yeah, thank you.
No, that's great. Yeah, and that it doesn't have to be the slow, tedious exercise. Somebody asked, what kind of marker am I using? It's probably backwards, is it? No, yes, it is. It's called Stabilo .88. And actually, I think these pens cost like €1 or $1, and they actually come in about 100 different colors. They're really easy to find, and this is a fine point one. But you know what? A lot of felt tip pens are not waterproof. So if you find any felt tip pen around your house, chances are it can be dissolved. Yeah, so all right. Thank you, Jan. Jan asked me, can I put the name of the pen in the chat? So I just put it in there. It's Stabilo .88 pen. And it's just a felt tip pen. So this is actually all we're going to do today. I wanted to do this as a way to get you to free up, and maybe you can draw some more on your own at home this week. In the Facebook group, the Sketches from Home, Sketching Our World, I'll actually put some drawings. I'll share some of these drawings also where I dissolve and add a little color. And I would encourage you to try this some more if you enjoyed it, and to add a little bit of color or shading to it, to experiment and play a little more. Playing is like what makes drawing fun and allows you to have some freedom around wanting to keep drawing. You know, if everything becomes, sometimes you need a break from the scientific part of measuring and being precise. Oh, sorry, I think I accidentally sent a private message. Thank you. So I'm writing the name of the pen. Okay. So does anybody else want to share or have any questions, want to make any comments?
Hi, Kelly. Can I share mine?
Hi, yeah, who's this?
It's me, Lisa.
Yeah, can you turn on your video? Oh, there you are.
So I love the continuous line exercises because I do always overanalyze everything, and it does teach me. It's a good exercise, like before I start anything, or I mean, well, and also if I haven't done something for a while. Anyway, I just love them because it does, as Theresa I think said, it teaches you to, sometimes you get bored with, if you really analyze everything, you get bored and then you stop and you don't finish it. And this is kind of, it's just a fun kind of, and it gives me a chance to be loose. So, which I really like. No,
This is a beautiful drawing. Look how much you did in 5 minutes.
No, exactly. And then sometimes, you can work on something for a long time, and I hate it. So I like and I like it. I like them. Anyway, thank you.
Yeah. By the way, this is my housemate and fellow artist. We're in the same house in different rooms.
No, but
Oh.
something that I forget always to do continuous line, because you go into, I want to do a finished piece, and it's actually a lot of times a finished piece I don't like, and I like these. These are like a must, and I really like them. Anyway, thank you.
Yeah, no, thanks. It's a really good point too, because they can even be studies for, like a larger piece that you have, or, they can generate a lot of ideas as well. And they don't take a lot of time. Yeah. Cool. Thank you. Bye. Now, does anybody else want to share or have any comments, questions? Okay, well, I'm going to stop the recording now.